Geek Dad Life presents live discussions on Star Wars Andor. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to live discussions on Andor on Geek Dad Life 2 Geek TV and film reviews. With me on this journey through a galaxy far, far away is my good friend Ralph. How you doing?
Doing great.
And Matt, aka at Everyday Inventors. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. Glad. I think my audio sounds different, but we're not doing a podcast, right?
You sound good.
You sound great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like this warmth.
Look horrible.
Do I? Well, you guys?
No, you look great.
All right.
You look great. You sound great. I like the background. You got some Star Wars toys.
So I am at my brother's house, and he has a huge Boba Fett collection. He is a giant, one of the largest Boba Fett fan I know. So
wow.
I probably, as he said, I created the monster that he is. So
does he have a whole section that is taken over by a Mandalorian?
Mando is part of the Boba Fett legacy, so of course
I'm going to complain if there's going to be a whole section dedicated to just the Mandalorian with no Boba Fett in that section. I'm going to get real mad.
What, to separate them?
Yeah, I'm confused on what you're angry about.
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of
get Mandalorian in my book of Boba Fett. I mean, Boba Fett.
Let's see. Well, he wanted me to put on one of the helmets. Let me grab one.
It's
okay, yeah, please do.
It's a reference to how people are mad.
You get that? We got Space Cowboy. Sabine Wren. Okay. I know Ralph doesn't know who that is. He doesn't like the cartoons, but
I feel like
he has a Boba Fett one as well, but I wanted to show this one off because it shows you the range of all of the Mandalorian themed
I love it.
merchandise and custom made what would you stuff so much
prop replicas maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, right. So you wouldn't know what that's like, Jay. I mean, behind you sits an amass amount of thousands and thousands of dollars of toys, right?
Yes.
So
after all the Motu drops,
after all the
Motu drops, he's gonna have to sell that stuff.
Wait, when what drops?
With all the Motu drops this week.
Oh,
to get the Battle Cat. I'm telling you, like, listen.
I can't. I don't know if I can pull off the Battle Cat. I'll need to sell some stuff, and everything needs to sequence up to get the Battle Cat because it's $500. I already spent $650 on the Eternia. I can't. Not made of money. Toy Geek Source is here. Stevie Apple, Andy Silva is here. Live Action Star Wars is here. Never heard of that channel. Kayla Silva is here, and we keep going. Here we go. Nelson A is here. A lot of conversations. Okay.
I second that emotion, Stevie. About the second season. So every time I watch this show, I'm just so glad that there's going to be more. So
same. We kind of talked about it last week, how each sequence of 3 episodes is kind of its own little story or has a story arc that it follows. And so this one is the heist story arc. Mm-hmm. And while last week's was very tense, there wasn't a lot of action, to which you said, okay, well, clearly the actual heist is going to happen in this episode. And Ralph mentioned how something that he's liked about the shows, even if there has been action, it hasn't just felt like kind of noise or over the top and you're still engaged in the story. And I feel like that continued in this one because the 1,000 shooting stars all at once did not disappoint. The eye did not disappoint. Mm-hmm. The heist did not disappoint. I'm kind of was just left in awe of that spectacle. Gentlemen, what was your thoughts just on the episode as a whole as it just dropped today? Ralph.
I think for me, this episode solidified it as my favorite Star Wars television show.
Wow.
It's really good. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's weird. I was, God dang it. I was talking about this on my show earlier.
Oh, did you do another show? Tell us about that. What is that show? I've never heard.
But like Star Wars sort of with Lucas was meant to be Flash Gordon. It was meant to be like something for kind of kids. And he's also mentioned that it's it could be viewed as like a silent movie. You don't need the dialogue and stuff there. So that's kind of the template that people go for. And that's something that sort of Filoni has embraced in Favreau and J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson. They stick to this sort of Flash Gordon-y swashbuckling serial thing, which is fine. But I feel like with this, they're kind of leaning more into the Kurosawa kind of side of Star Wars, in which it's like character driven. Like if you watch The Hidden Fortress or you watch Seven Samurai, they're not really heavy with action. There's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of character, and then by the time you get to the action, it means much more. It's not an action set piece every 10 minutes like in Star Wars. It's not serialized like that way. So it's something that I've really liked. Less noise, more character driven. Like it's kind of nice. Even Obi-Wan, as much as I loved Obi-Wan, like, and the lightsaber battle was amazing, but it's also, holy crap, everything, sound effects, rock sound effects, lightsabers, Darth Vader yelling, the music is all so loud. And in this, it's just like, this is just a shootout in a base. And that's as like basic of a Star Wars action set pieces you can have. But you're so invested in the characters that it's like the stakes seem so much bigger, even though they're not trying to save an entire planet. They're just trying to get some money. And it just feels like the stakes are so much greater.
I think it because it is so, like, they're just like 6 people trying to pull off a heist out of like a heavily guarded Imperial fortress. This isn't a flight of X-wings, which in its own way was those little X-wings against a gigantic planet-sized space station. But it is on a smaller scale, that same level of stakes. Matt, your initial take here after this episode.
Okay, so one thing about the eye, just to circle back to that, and the event of the eye, because of course that was so much setup and the payoff of that. I liked that even after watching it one time through, I don't know if I really remember seeing the eye perfectly, because you're just constantly moving through it, and there's actually not this kind of like picturesque, like two suns setting quiet moment where you can just enjoy the awe of it. There's the build up to it, and then there's all of the things that are just kind of as they move through it. There was I think one shot where you're like, oh, this is it, and then it just kind of like all of these parts just kind of falling off the wheel of everything that was set in place.
There was a moment I felt like it was the shot of it was the Aldani people. And when they saw, so it was like their viewpoint of like the valley, and then
right,
and then it coming down, and I was like, oh, that's why they like to come to this place. Like it was a really cool shot. And yes, it wasn't as majestic, I guess, as Tatooine's Two Sons, because you didn't have like a sweeping Jedi theme from John Williams, but to me it still captured that awe of it. But there
is that scene, and I'm not taking away from that scene that we do get to see that moment. It just felt like even after that, it was just like we were just kind of moving through it, and we didn't get it. It was just like it was gone in an instant, just like that whole moment, because it did feel like a solar eclipse where it's happening and then it's gone. So all of the different characters and where they end at this point, even Luthen, and how he kind of has this exclamation point to the episode of like of how he's happy as to what he has done, but he himself isn't control of this wheel that he's created, and you're left wondering like who's alive and who's still dead.
Yeah.
So because I felt like there was still question marks about the rest of the team.
It was
So,
it wasn't clean. It was not a clean.
It was pretty compared to other heist movies.
Sure.
It was pretty clean. I mean, every sort of death, like the plan went as expected.
Mm-hmm.
They met up at the front of the
Mhm.
dam. They got inside. They
Yeah.
held up the guys. They kept them hostage, and they went down to the vault, got everything into the thing, and the thing took off.
Yeah.
The only problems were is dudes getting shot, which we were all expecting. Like they were expecting, like we're not all going to make it out of this.
Yeah.
So I feel like it kind of went on without a hitch. There wasn't really any major thing that happened. The kid got crushed by accident. You know,
yeah.
he like that's just like it. But for the most part, usually with heists, they give you enough information at the beginning so you know what goes wrong when it goes wrong.
Sure.
And so for this, they pretty much, I mean, the plan worked like pretty smoothly.
I do wonder, like when I see them moving the money, I was like, they should have hired more help because I just feel like they didn't get all of those credits. Like most of the plans to get a little bit of the credits because there was a lot still in the vault when they left.
It felt like they got a quarter of the quarterly,
right?
You know, like even in saying that they got a quarter of that is generous because it feels like they got an eighth of it still.
Unless they needed that booty to then fund the rebellion, right?
Well, that's what I assumed that was going to happen, and of course, I still feel like parts of the wheels fell off of all of that, you know, and just how they got out, but it was sloppy in many ways. So, and to the point about like it being character driven, you know, we've had time for us to kind of get to know like, oh, why is this guy in it, and why is this guy in it, you know, and so when those moments do fall into place, I don't know, they mean more. And going back to Kenobi just quickly, like the one character that most fans had the biggest problem with was the character that had the biggest development and was, you know, we followed that storyline further or deeper with that character. You know what I mean?
Which character is that?
Thanks for asking me that.
Sit here.
You brought it up. It's okay.
I was on a tangent here, so.
Anyways,
I'm looking it up.
Okay, good.
No, but to me, it's like I didn't expect it to be clean. I didn't expect it to go perfect. Again, it was like a prototypical, stereotypical heist. And there's always the point when they're behind schedule. We're behind schedule. And there's always the point when like the somewhat innocent or just aloof guard shows up. It's like, what's going on? What's guy's like, nothing, just look away, and then screws it all up, and then it goes foobar, and then people, you know, maybe get shot or hurt or whatever. And you know, that's where to me, that was fine. I think it paid itself off well because of, to Ralph's point, they've spent so much time with the characters, and even with the Imperial characters, like whatever the guy's name, the not the Admiral, but whoever what was it? Commandant?
Something like that. Yeah.
Whoever the guy was there trying to impress the colonel, and kind of showing that dynamic, and you just kind of see all of these in like I think Ralph brought it up last week. We're getting so much time with the Imperials and seeing how human they are and how flawed they are, and kind of see their own individual motivations, from the lieutenant to the commandant to the colonel, all of them. And it's just that's what I think just makes the stakes that much. And then all of the what's driving these rebels, where there's really only one believer amongst them, to the point where, you know, at the very end, the guy that was like so suspicious of Andor the whole time was just like, hey, all right, you want to go just steal it and get out of here now? And so right, and you know, J-Hold the commandant, there you go. And so, you know, I don't know, just it made the stakes so much more relevant, and it made the scene when, you know, they're trying to escape from the eye, and you know that What's the kid's name? I can't remember. But anyways,
was it Riva?
no.
Is that
he's
Wait,
dying.
is that who you were talking about?
yeah,
Reba?
that's what I was talking about.
Riva?
Yeah, like the character development of Riva and Kenobi. Like I felt like that was some. We need these other characters connecting with because Kenobi and Vader were so bulletproof. I feel like this show shows that we can have characters that are a little bit more nitty gritty and very.
They don't have to be killed with a ton of fanfare. People just kind of just die.
Yeah, kind of.
Nemec. Yes.
So. I don't know, just it makes him trying to, he spent so much time talking about the little Polaroid camera thing that's going to chart the stars. Yep. And he got him out of it, even though he was dying. Like the whole setup was incredible.
Oh, that book's coming back around. I mean, this is like,
oh yeah, this is manifesto.
Yeah. And is this the manifesto of the rebellion then? Are we seeing
it's yes, and I feel like where we are, Cassian isn't in it for the rebellion.
He doesn't believe in anything. Yeah.
Once it gets
for your rebellion, sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, for the money.
Yeah.
But he's gonna end up being in hyperspace for however long he needs to be. He's gonna read that book. It's gonna put some ideas in his head.
So we all knew Nemec was going to die. Even my kids knew Nemec was going to die. Like going into it, they were like, yeah, he's probably going to be the one that dies, and they said, and Skeen's going to be the one that's like, no, bro, you're going to die. I love you, man. That's what they said. So it was pretty close, but the way it all went down was much, much darker.
Right?
I like that it wasn't any like fanfare. It wasn't a big moment. Like,
no,
for me in Solo, probably the only thing that doesn't work is L3's death and Lando's. Like, I never felt that connection. I know there's history before that, but it's like he's holding this droid and like
if it was a mini series, we would have had that more. We would have had like all of these, emotional beats.
But I feel like Star Wars, like every single death has to be some crazy sacrifice that.
Right.
Nope. He just got crushed by a trolley that wasn't locked down. Like this kind of stuff happens. Yep. And like.
I felt like he got the short end of the stick on the doctor though. Like, I don't know. Like,
I tried everything I could do.
Maybe get another nurse in there. Maybe it didn't look the cleanest of places. Just saying.
It was as good a setup as Jack Nicholson's Joker in '89 Batman had. It's like, look at these tools. Remember, it's all the gross.
I do.
Anyway, smashes the mirror on the thing.
Yeah.
So are we gonna get a vintage figure of that dude? The Dr. Quad Paws or whatever his name is.
You want a 6-inch Black Series of that figure? Okay.
No, I don't want any.
I think we'll be lucky to get 6 characters from Andor that they make in Black Series. There hasn't been a lot of toys yet.
Well, I mean, at PulseCon 2 weeks ago, they have a 3 3/4 inch Andor, a 3 3/4 inch Andor, and a 3 3/4 inch. What's the girl's name? I'm blanking. Vel? Is it Vel?
Do they all come with conversation action?
Well, it makes sense because she survived thus far. So
yeah.
By the way, Vel and Val are really, really close together, and there's like this basically what I thought was a train heist, but it was a space train. Which is, have we seen?
It is
that?
in space, okay.
But I mean, it shot it up to space, so it's a train on a rail, right? Space train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, know what that scene reminded me of? That thing shooting out of that tube?
What?
As of Sunday, I am stone free.
Hey!
The heist is complete. There's still a little bit up in there, but the majority of it is out.
Would you say they got more of the quarterly payroll?
Oh,
It was
more than a
I
quarter of
got-
the quarterly payroll.
yeah. If you must know, go to my my Twitter feed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this isn't my. This is my. That's for my shows.
Okay.
Ralph D. Oppel, and no one cares. No one is gonna go seek that out. I think I put it on my Facebook too. It's dude, it is gnarly. Just letting you know.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. But
You're not putting. Oh god damn.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna post. I thought you were
No!
gonna put it up.
He's bringing it up right now. So for
All right,
those
the
podcast
Andor
listeners.
Black series looks like crap. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm gonna be honest. His beard doesn't look good.
No.
Right.
But this is still available, and it's a Hasbro Pulse Con exclusive, and that was 2 weeks ago. So it shows you the whatever.
$56.
Yeah,
It's too
right?
expensive. All you're getting is the figure and then the B2 emo.
I mean, what is B2 Emo doing? He's only been in like a couple episodes.
Okay, he's cool, but
No,
yeah,
people love him.
Not
People love
that's
him.
the only way, and it's currently it's the only way you can get him.
right.
You got a
That's how
Mon
they get you.
Mothma.
That's how they get you.
All right, that's
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah, that
There you
Mon
go.
Mothma.
All right.
Only I think this is the first Mon Mothma we've gotten in Black series. I don't think we've gotten a regular one yet.
I like how Mon Mothma also looks like 1975 Bowie. You know. So
I love how much like different eras of Bowie translate to different people's looks.
right.
And then we've got Luthen.
That's good.
That's pretty good Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely better than
Andor.
you
The
guys
Andor
talking
one
toys?
is not. Yeah. So
And then a lot of people have gotten the Bix because everyone's in love with Bix. I don't know if you've gotten yours yet.
I have not. But big fan though. So hopefully we see more of Bix this season. So
I don't think so. I don't know.
you don't think so? You don't think Bix is going back?
like
or
I
not
mean,
Bix, but,
like her
Andor's
story
going
arc's
back.
over.
Yeah. Sure. So then
Oh,
why
there's a
make a
Vel.
figure? You
And
know?
here's the Vel. This is a 3 3/4 inch Vel.
Hmm.
My thing
Okay.
was
It's a
like,
Space AK.
Yeah, I know Space AK, which basically looks like she could be I don't know, just any action figure at this point.
or
It's
G.I.
really-
Joe, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's definitely defending America. So
Indeed. So there's your toys. None, but again, Andor is just not. It's not good for toys. I think that's just what it is. They're people, and that's okay. That's okay, right?
yeah,
Right.
sure. But I am down for the HasLab space train that like shoots.
I think I would want that sort of action fleet like BMO, like get a BMO where you
Yes.
fold it open and it's the dam,
Ooh,
and then down here
yeah.
you have like the temple, and up here you have like
Yeah.
the inside with
Mm.
the ship docked.
Yeah.
Because I like those. I had the C3PO with R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were Vel and Kaz? I thought so. I thought it was pretty clear that they were
Yeah.
together. Because he said they were sleeping or bunking together or something in the previous.
What
episode.
happened to Kaz?
She kind of just went off on her own. But I would assume they would have known she would have been a part of it, but she left kind of trying to blend in with the Imperials.
I guess like
Or with the people, the Aldanians.
Bell and
Okay,
Cinta.
maybe.
Bell and Cinta were a thing. Yes.
Oh,
If Luthen can get back and forth on this planet without being tracked, they're gonna go back for her.
yeah.
Okay, and what about Lieutenant Gore? Like, is he dead? Like, he got shot. So,
I think everybody else
Probably.
is dead. But
okay.
you know what? Like maybe they get detained. Like who knows what the next story arc is going to be? Because this
Right.
one's kind of wrapped up pretty neat.
Mhm.
Like where everybody except for Mon Mothma. You even say Luthen's story could end here because his thing was
For those of you that haven't seen the trailer, I don't know if this is considered a spoiler, but we've seen the Star Destroyer going over that planet.
Mm-hmm.
With I forget her name already. We
Cinta?
literally just said it. Yes, we see her and a Star Destroyer coming over that. So, assuming we're going back.
Okay.
Assuming we're going to see the fallout.
So
Too many names.
I
We've
was
all
trying to
forgotten a name.
I was trying to earnestly look at names before this episode began because I was like, there's a lot of people happening in this. I mean, so we
Go ahead.
were wrong about one thing.
What?
They didn't blow up that dam.
Yes.
We were kind of thinking this was going to be more of a GoldenEye situation. We
got a little bit of GoldenEye in there,
right?
Yeah, and Thunderbolt.
Golden Thunderbolt. Well, we definitely, yeah, exactly, with the scuba. I love that shot, by the way. That was probably one of the underwater with the fireball up above. That was such a cool image. So. Yeah,
and I feel like the chat is it's true. That's the beauty of doing this live. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because they showed how awful they're treating the Aldani people. So like as a viewer, you're like, and not that we needed a reason to root against the Empire anyway, right? But I feel like they set us up so much. It's like, dude, screw all of these people. So it was such a small victory. Because they still have the outpost there. They still have the dam there. They're still going to tear all of that up and terraform it or whatever they plan to do.
Yeah.
So, but I guess that's all they could get at that moment, which is small victories.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's big for the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
What? Checking that Padre score?
No.
Anyone know I saw an update earlier.
It's tied now.
So I guess just that idea that we were wrong about one thing that we guessed last week.
But is that because there's more to come here? Because
possibly
I feel like they've made us hate what they have done to the Aldani so much that it's like, oh, there's unfinished business.
I kind of also thought perhaps why would you blow that up with all of those people down there? Because then it would just wipe them out and kill them, and you wouldn't want to kill the people.
Yeah.
The Empire. Yeah.
So you blow it up when there's none of the civilians in the,
Well, and that's right, because if you blow up the dam, it would have killed the Aldanis.
Right. Yep. You gotta save the people. So, I mean, maybe that story arc is this season. Maybe we'll see something more happen with this. Maybe I think that's the other thing that I guess that I like knowing that there's more to come is that certain storylines, maybe they could just end. Maybe we don't get more with this, but if they do come back to these planets.
Is that little kid going to come back and start tearing stuff up? The kid dressed as an Imperial officer with the rebel with a gun to his head.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
probably Snoke.
There was no Cyril in this episode, so his story is left open.
That's true.
His story kind of doesn't really revolve around this as much.
They were showing him last week,
right,
eating cereal. Cyril eating cereal.
Watching a cereal.
I double checked the color. It was black and kind of bluish green, I guess.
Yeah, it's from there was a cereal that I believe was Trolls, Tricks World Tour.
Okay.
It's like a Trolls tie-in with Tricks, and it's one of many colors. So someone in the prop department, because I guess the cereal tracks with when they shot this.
Oh wow!
Huh. Yeah, so people figure this stuff out. I believe that's it. So if we look at that,
oh yeah, there they are right there. So it's
they had to go through and like split them out.
Wow.
Wow. Props departments be propping. So
did Dinosaur Dracula do it?
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa, there it is.
Yeah.
So they had to go dig out all those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
They probably just ate the mushrooms, huh? Or the marshmallows, not mushrooms, the marshmallows.
Well, we're clearly going to get more with this character as well as Mon Mothma, and
so
I
we'll
think
get the
Luthen.
other cereals.
I mean, they have to have like a separate bowl of all the other individual pieces, right? Just to have it.
I wonder if they picked those blue and purple pieces so that when the milk did hit it, it would turn the milk blue, and that would mean that the prop milk was edible.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Well, they probably
All I know now is I need to find this cereal. It's still
Yeah,
available.
for 2020.
So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I get it from. I can get it delivered from. Screw Publix. We go Instacart. $5. It's available at my Food Line across the street.
Well, there you go.
Be right back.
We'll just cover the rest of the show from here.
Oh man. Okay, so can I just say how sad? Like, for a moment that I really looked forward in this show, because I'd never seen it, was the Imperial Senate. Was there anything as sad and pathetic as Mon Mothma pleading her case in a Senate that nobody cared?
Oh man,
There's barely anyone there.
Yeah, it was empty.
Like, go back and watch episode 1, 2, and 3, and that place is like full of people, full of noise. It's lively. There's like 10 people in here, and half of them get up and leave during your speech. It's nuts.
Well, when you control half the Senate, then you get to make all of those people do that.
I am the Senate.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, it's definitely like playing out like how skewed the politics are at this point, because if you're even listening to her, you would be, like on her side basically. So yeah. Boy, she's having a hard go. I mean, life at home, like her daughter hates her. The Senate, they don't listen to her. So, I mean, maybe we are seeing like this breaking point for these characters. So, but so, okay. What do you think is going to happen with Andor? He's taking the money and running, and then he's going to read that book.
Well, I mean, he's taking his cut. He doesn't want anything more than he was told he was going to get, which I think was something like 200,000 credits or something.
Yep, 200,000 credits. Yeah,
and way
he's going
less
to take that, and he's going to buy that ship. So he's
Right.
not really stealing anything or taking anything.
Yeah.
He knows that Vel doesn't believe him. Why he shot what's his nuts, and he's just like, here, I'm going to take my cut. What was owed to me?
Yep.
Doctor, I'm going to buy that ship out there for 30,000 credits or whatever, and then I'm bouncing. Like, I'm out of your life. I did the thing I came to do, and I'm free of all of it.
Well, also, I mean, you're gonna be a wanted man. Like at this point, like the only people that are kind of aware of what happened are the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And him and her, and that's it. Like there's nobody, unless. Well, we know, I guess, the Cinta thing, because Ralph spoiled us on that. We're going to see more of Cinta. So clearly she's out there. But still, like, how do you find these people? And, the Empire's pissed. So,
yeah.
I mean, we saw the War Room about that.
Yeah.
Right. And then we also saw that even that Imperial officer that was at Luthen's shop, like, this is big news. Of course, they're going to send someone down to investigate. So I'm assuming Dedra is going to be in charge of that. I think she's going to start looking for Andor. And we have another guy out there who also wants to find Andor. And I mean, I feel like Luthen's going to want to be knowing where Andor is. Like, everybody's going to be after Andor. So we're halfway through the season. So I'm assuming that the rest of the season is like everyone out to get him.
Andor.
Yeah, it's like John Wick 2.
Well, I mean, I guess, if we're still thinking in 3-episode story arcs, I would assume that this next story arc is what Andor. I don't know, Andor's journey, I guess, the turn of the switch where he's gonna come around, because I would think that the last 3 episodes would be striking back at the Empire, or maybe freeing these people, So and it's hard to say, like maybe he won't let her get away.
Well, there's a couple of things that I would counter to that, and to this point here, I think Andy brings up a good point. I think that him giving back the Sky Kyber shows that he's on level and earned at least some level of respect from Vel, right? And then the other thing is, like, he can't be too much of a wanted man, because he's still roaming around relatively freely in Rogue One, right? Like, because it becomes, a heavily wanted person, he's not going to have that level of autonomy.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to, like, go around and visit different planets, and
maybe he's gotten this way by doing this, cutting and running. You know,
he has. I mean, and it's kind of one of the earliest things we saw with Andor in Rogue One, where like the guy that he got the information from, he's can't escape the stormtroopers, so he just kills him. So
yeah,
there's no way that the Empire doesn't have some sort of tracking device on this ship. So for him to just be like cutting and running, it's probably the best thing for him to do. She doesn't even know his real name. Nobody knows his real name.
Yeah.
He's out. He got what he needed.
Exactly.
And that's how he's able to kind of fly under the radar.
Yeah.
But I don't see, I mean, Dedra's going to have to come down there, talk to people, talk to the kid and the mom and any of the guys that were loading that gear, because they didn't really kill any hostages, I don't think, except for the guy who pointed the gun during that standoff with the kid and stuff. So I mean, there's a billion faces out there. You think they're going to remember Cassian?
Cyril's
there should be
his little 3D.
Yeah. They were all over that Imperial facility too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But clearly, he has the ability to cut, run, and find a new place. So, this episode just kept that tension driving. It was so intense the whole time. And at one point, I was like, okay, I know he's gonna live.
When he was wrestling in the cockpit, I was like,
that's the exact moment. I was like,
I'm like,
okay,
this is fine.
But I still was, on the edge of my seat because I wanted to know what was going to happen, and of course, so.
And it had like a Rogue One level body count almost. Like all the new people, aside from Cinta and Vel, died. Right? Everybody else dead.
I assume
don't even bring up Jeddah, but okay, sure. I know what you mean as far as characters go.
Yeah, exactly. But I do have to wonder, I believe Andy Silva said it earlier. See if I can find it real quick. Here it is right here. So I think it was meant to contrast when I was talking about Mon Mothma and like nobody caring about what she was saying in the Senate. I think it was meant to contrast with Luthen's reaction. I think it shows that his efforts are actually undermining / hurting hers. She's more diplomatic where he is more extremist like Saw, I think. But I gotta say, to me, looking at it, clearly Mon Mothma's approach isn't working. Like diplomacy doesn't work. Because we know, like even
that diplomacy died in episode 3.
Exactly. We said it. They to applause.
Yeah.
But and so I kind of not that I'm siding with her a-hole husband or her daughter, but like she's going this route, and I assume there's going to be this inflection. She's clearly funding the extremist side or whatever, but there has to be this realization that Luthen's approach is the only thing that'll probably work versus diplomacy. But the other thing is that is a flaw of Mon Mothma. If you go post the fall of the Empire, it's her desire for diplomacy and kind of the demilitarization of the New Republic that leads to the First Order being human rise again, right?
Even in Rogue One, she didn't want the X-Wings to scramble and go to Scarif.
Right.
Cassian and crew had to sneak a U-Wing out or whatever to sneak in.
Yep.
Or I guess it was a transport, but it's like she was still sort of against that.
Showing that the most rebellious rebels are the ones that rebel against the rebellion. So,
to me, it kind of shows a flaw for her that's kind of throughout, and so there's the Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi that's clearly the leader of the rebellion at that point, right, or the highest level, and then she's elected the first chancellor of the New Republic. But even then, it's like to her the violence was a means to an end, and then once they defeated the Empire, it's like kind of going back to the diplomacy thing without realizing you kind of need to have diplomacy with a military that can make sure it keeps the diplomacy alive, for better or worse.
Luca in the chat brings up did Skeen let Tamarin die? So I thought that was kind of an interesting, like thought there. I didn't think that, I didn't notice that, but I know when the action was going down, there was a lot of like looking glances and and he was always kind of, now we know he was always looking for his cut,
Sure.
like the big cut, the big payoff, knowing that when you're the last one holding the gun, you get the money. So so that's a good take on that. I don't know, that's a very plausible.
It's kind of, I kind of want to watch it again and just see all of the moves,
Yeah, because I didn't. I mean, I've only watched it that one time through, and the whole time I'm like, wait, what's gonna no?
Yeah,
Just...
and it was messy. It was jarring. It was fast. It wasn't clean. So there might be some subtlety shown in there that could give a little bit more context.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this. I love this, Kayla. All the Heath's Joker. Right. But in that one, he was the last one standing, and everybody else got killed. I'm sure that if Andor had gone along with Skeen, that Skeen would. Oh, of course, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's why Andor killed him. Like at that second, you can't trust.
Andor's more solo than Solo, like he's already like one shooting before. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like he's always shooting before you could even think to shoot first. He's like, he seems like he's like, he shoots when you're like, it seems morally on the border, man. But, Solo's like 2 seconds after that. Anyway.
But they didn't, what I like, and again, I mentioned this earlier on the show, is that they didn't make a big event out of him shooting Skeen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like they didn't make it a big... Like it wasn't this big, like the music didn't swell. We didn't see him standing there over the body, like thinking about what he just did. No, the shot comes from off screen, and then it like cuts to inside the doctor's tent, and then like it just like it doesn't have those gigantic moments that tells the audience you should be feeling something right now. No, it's all very matter of fact, which I like. Everything's very matter of fact.
The setting to that was really cool too, like with those reeds, just kind of like the silhouette of those reeds coming through just something that stood out in that scene, as it was a bit of a showdown really at the end of it. So
so Luthen, it's at the very end. It felt weird tonally for me, right? Like it felt he was just like, Aldhani, why do you want something from Aldhani?
Hold on a second. Yeah, nailed it.
I mean, where we left off last week.
Sorry, I don't have anything from Aldhani.
It was weighing so heavy on him, and then he didn't have any information. In his brain, he's running this heist for whoever knows how long it's been.
Yeah,
since we last saw him, and so it's like this release. It's the first word he's getting that something happened there, and he took it as like his finally, like the fact that he was able to keep himself composed long enough to make it to the back room.
Did he though? I guess my point is just. I don't know if he kept composed. I understand it. I understand it, right? He's under a lot of pressure. Yeah. But I felt like a better response would have been a more understated, just like, and there's a little tear coming down his eyes.
Right, yeah.
I feel like in a show that's entirely centered around this group of characters in a heist that we all found filled with tension, that it's a nice, like, this is like the biggest victory you're going to get on the show is one guy cheering to himself.
We don't say anything, but he was just like, woo!
like almost as he's walking through the doorway back.
He was all the way back there. He was all the way back.
If it was a kitchen, like it would have the swinging doors still like flying back. And
no,
hear
he probably had one of those space doors that comes down real fast.
He's pulling out all of the.
Like,
his wig should have popped off and spun around a couple times and landed back.
Well, I certainly will check, and the bow tie flips around.
But it's almost it's like
all like
in The
1930s
Office
gags.
where like he sells Michael Scott paper back to Dunder Mifflin. They just go inside the office and they close the blinds.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
you can hear the cheering.
Yes, exactly. That's the moment.
I get it. It's a tension release, etc., etc. But it just wasn't.
I do think he is on the line though, because he has a vehicle and they can check to
True.
see who has been there.
So yeah.
It is a legit thing that somebody could be coming in to investigate and saying like,
Mm-hmm.
what business did you have on that planet? Like why were
I don't think they're able to track his ship.
Maybe not. Maybe
be
not.
tracked.
I mean, Andor was able to kind of like do some switchy kind of things with his ship. Maybe Luthen did the same, and we'll just go with that. But there was clearly a thing that Andor had to do to take out that box that recorded where his ship had been. So there's some I don't know. I feel like we've been shown this detective wing of the ISB, like they're gonna get their man. Like there's and especially with the one lady digging deep, like
Dedra?
she's got an itch to scratch. Dedra.
Get the names straight.
I knew
Close.
It was a D name.
There's so many names, there's so many characters. It's so hard to and they're not named like Walrus Face or Mustache Guy or
that's my Star Wars, okay? I want a Hammerhead. I want a Snaggletooth.
I would call her blonde eye bag lady. So she has large eye bags because she's working all the time.
Wow.
She's very pale. Wow. Sorry, I'm not trying to make I'm just
I
I think the makeup's intentional.
Yeah, stop.
No, I'm not. It's not a okay. I'll take it back. Pale. No, nothing works.
Stop.
Walrus man.
Make his assistant Jim smiling a little bit, because the assistant had a little smirk. Like when the dude first asked Cassian if he knew anyone from Kenari. Yeah, exactly. Kayla Silva.
My joke is just now hitting with the live. Yeah, so I apologize for it.
I feel like Kayla's gonna then respond, "I'm not mad, Matt. I'm just disappointed."
Just one more clarification. I think it's an intentional thing to show that she's working all the time. She's very pale, and they're showing the bags under her eyes.
There's Coruscant. There's no beaches on Coruscant.
Yeah, her whole life is being a worker bee.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of fluorescent lighting. Okay.
Yeah.
Andy Silva, I can't wait for a Miro Cyril love story to continue the Office allegory or the Dwight and Angela of this story. You know what? It is kind of a Dwight and Angela dynamic.
Sure. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Miro.
Oh my God!
I don't know any of the characters, and Andor's not even going by Andor.
It's in the cultural lexicon.
Oh no, I'm talking about Andor.
Oh,
I don't know who Miro is.
Dedra,
I thought he meant Dedra and Cyril. Yeah,
I
thought he meant Dedra and Cyril. That's how I read that.
So. Yeah, Dedra and.
Oh, that's her last name. I think it's her last name.
Yeah. Anyway, but maybe it will be. I'm just saying. Kind of will be. Okay. All right. Final thoughts on this episode, and we'll talk about predictions for the next core or the next arc.
Good job.
Good
job, everybody.
It was so cool. It was amazing. The visual effects paid off. Loved it. Can't wait to see the tension.
It was a great Act 3.
It was a perfect Act 3. And aside from Luthen blowing it.
Really not. He didn't.
Really cringy. Keep up the really cringy body counts. My kids love them. Bing.
He's gonna in the next episode's gonna start with Luthen walking around the back with something from Aldani and saying, "Sorry, I stubbed my toe," and then he gives you a hand over the thing to the guy, and that's the noise he made when he stubbed his toy.
Toy or his toe?
Yikes!
season prediction. At least before this is done, we're going to see one dead body twitching there, just like as it dies.
Dang.
So.
Smedberg, the meteor shower was amazing.
Yes,
The way,
it was.
Because when they first set it up in the first of these 3 episodes in this arc, I had this sense of, okay, they're setting this thing up to be the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life, and I think they delivered.
It looked awesome.
It was amazing.
Not only did they deliver, but like it felt very real world.
Yes,
like it didn't feel like, oh, there's just this cosmic tie-dye whirlpool, man, like all these hippies come out and smoke some, it was like physical objects, and the build up and the payoff, it was great. And
it was beautiful, and I loved how it factored into the escape, and trying to pilot through it, and then the TIE fighters. I loved
and Andor trusting the kid,
yes,
to give the directions. Like he couldn't have time to set up his thing. He's just like pull up, pull up. All of that stuff. Like it shows you that Andor actually trusts.
Felt that little thread of the Force there for a moment. It's just like that one little tiny thread of the Force just pulling him through
the computer. That was incredible. But I also just loved seeing the people get in the TIE fighters and like football the switches and stuff. That's like the most time I feel like we've spent.
No, my son even pointed this out. That exact thing. He was like, this is the first time we get to see this. Like he was all in on that scene. Like, I mean,
it was cool because like if you think about the Death Star trench run, you have the 20 minutes of the rebels getting in their ships and flying out,
right?
Which is
you don't see any of this. The TIE fighters come out of nowhere. So I thought it was a real
I mean, sure, you see a little bit of like First Order, but that's new. The sequel. No, this is like the classic, TIE fighters. That's like the first time you actually get to see inside the cockpit like that, and you see him lowered him in. I mean, you see the cockpit scene. Don't get me wrong, but like that whole
sequence stuff.
Yeah, it was great.
And the special effects were incredible too, because it seems so tactile. Everything seems so tactile, even in the meteor shower, and the pieces hitting the windshield and it
my gosh, I was like, can they even go through space now?
Sure.
And so it just, I don't know, it's just such a but so you have that interplay of them getting in the TIE fighters, and you have them trying to move these gigantic heavy things of credits into the thing, and the shots are flying everywhere. It's so intense that a dude has a heart attack and dies,
right?
And
that was great.
Which, I don't want to say that
was a very Office moment.
I don't want to say that the wife and kid are actually going to be happy. I was like, oh, my a-hole dad died? Okay,
right?
We can go live our lives now.
Woo, we're off of this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need any revenge story. I'm good.
It's just everything, just so tactile. I absolutely loved it. Credits are heavy. Again, it's a very real world thing where
how do you
in
move
the
it?
very green screen to a false prequel world where it didn't have the tactile feel. Just everything had physics to it, and
they had a pallet. You had a space pallet jack that like spilled over, right? That's a real world thing. So,
let's see. The TIE fighter with a broken window can go into space. They're not pressurized. The pilots are wearing life support units on their suits. There you go.
Nice, space cowboy.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
Boom.
Kayla says healthcare must be worse than in the USA if he died of a heart attack. Like he's maybe wasn't the healthiest of lifestyle.
I think they've set it up that these people have been living pretty bad on.
They have caterers. They had space caterers to to bring their food.
And the space caterers definitely did not expect this to go down. Right?
Like, I'm just here to deliver some food. Can I go?
I ain't in it for your revolution, man. I'm in it to cater food. It's my passion.
Yeah.
These are space pickles.
Indeed.
Sorry. Do you have any Scream memes?
No Scream memes. Nobody sent any.
Andor's made for grown-ups. So the kids aren't making up the memes.
Where's my TikTok?
There's nothing to make fun of.
I kind of want to know what Star Wars universe TikTok is, though. To be honest,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're ready with that tray of apple teenies. But yeah, still can't. The memes. I wish there was more memes. It's like just look at toys. It's not toyable. It's not memeable. That's okay.
It's good though. It's really good though.
It's good.
Ralph's like, it's still flying under the radar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they're already like into production for season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what the numbers are on this, but I don't care. As long as they're making season 2, I don't care what the numbers are. If nobody's watching this show, I don't care because I get to enjoy it without hearing the discourse.
What if they only are like 6 episodes into season 2 and they're like, pull it, yank it, and then like the last 3 episodes are like the 5th Planet of the Apes movie?
Oh no! Please no. I wonder.
Sorry, there's doomsday scenario here.
Disney's approach here, because there is this old Hollywood, or it's a lot of things, but Hollywood has had this kind of 2 for me, 1 for you kind of creator approach, right? Where you have the things that are the popcorn filler that is going to appease a mass audience or something that'll get butts in seats. And then maybe they're like, okay, and then Andor is like our more creator adult driven drama. So we've got the Star Wars for the kids, and then we've got the Star Wars for the olds. And that's why, even if maybe it's not as successful as an Obi-Wan, who would expect it to be, it's still successful enough because it gives adult, I don't want to say it's not Game of Thrones adult content, but more adult focused content, aside from, hey, this is the thing you need so your kids are appeased, Yeah.
Well, in the tactile real world stuff, if they keep with that, they can keep their budget low and have these really great moments. And the writing is what's driving it,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Because I feel like if the writing wasn't there, these characters would not be pulling in this much tension as I'm watching them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In these scenes.
And they got Bad Batch around the corner. So
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just give us old people something that's not noise. We just,
give us NPR, Disney, okay? Apothos bets, guys, how about Luthen proving to the galaxy that the Empire can bleed? I.e. Drago, Xerxes, the Senate self-dissolving news.
It's going to help him find allies for sure.
Right?
He's going to have a large enough bankroll to get something set up, whether it's bases or get a fleet of X-Wings. Like it's like this is the very beginning of that ball rolling.
Well, Vel's going to come through.
Emphas Nest. You have Emphas Nest, who's also doing the same thing, trying to bankroll the rebellion with coaxium. So once all these people come together, it's going to be great. I don't need to see the cameos of the week. I'm good without them.
Right.
Saw's coming up. We know Saw's coming.
Yeah, we know. I hope it's pretty minimal because I don't believe that Saw has met Andor before Rogue One. So we may see him with one of the other characters, but I don't think he's going to be super integral.
I thought he knew him. I thought they were like
he's bagged his head and threw him in a jail, and then put Bor Gullet all over his face.
Right.
Well, I will say.
But I guess that would make sense then.
The reason
I guess it wasn't him. They put Bor Gullet on the pilot.
Exactly.
On Bodhi.
Yeah, Bodhi.
I can't even do his like Bodhi. I can't do this. Bodhi. And you come to me? Are you going to kill me? I can't do a Saw.
That's pretty good. I like it. So that whole sequence is really good.
Yeah, Cassian knew Saw because the thing was they brought in Jyn Erso because the relationship with Saw had already been severed by that point, right? They worked with him, and that relationship has been severed, so they're not on good terms anymore. And so not only did they want Jyn Erso because her dad is the one that sent the signal, it's because they figured she had a relationship with Saw because Saw isn't going to work with anybody that these rebels that he's already worked with.
Yeah.
Perhaps we do see. Perhaps we do see an event with Saw where an attack goes too far And then Mon Mothma sees well, now the Empire can push in more military like into these areas, like, perhaps she feels the effects of Saw, and so that's why we know that relationship has also been severed. So I don't know, just theorizing on where stories will go with Saw or how he's going to interact, but excited to see more of this show. So, and knowing that we still have 6 more episodes is really cool. So
Kayla did find a couple screen memes. She said they're not that fun though, but
we're gonna take a look at them.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
I like the concept that he also knows the
Ralph.
movie Saw.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
I know this isn't Screen Geeks, but send in your Stump Ralphs.
We got our first one here with me. What I've been saying, that Nemec would die for the past couple of weeks, and that I was ready, and then Nemec actually dies.
That is actually really cute. Though. I like that. I had a kitten like that.
Well, what's cute about it? Explain it to our listening audience.
So if you're just listening to the podcast version of this show, so we're looking at this little tiny kitten, the cutest kitten, like probably like 3 weeks old, and it's got like a little pink nose, and it's got like little tears in its eyes, and its eyes are like just completely black, and it's looking at a cell phone on like a very,
it's like what, an iPhone 10, maybe a
more than I do at this point of the, and then it says me when I've been saying that Nemec would die for the past couple weeks and that I was ready, and then Nemec actually dies. I think Jay already said that. Sorry,
I did already say that.
that was what they call redundant.
I need the meme splain. I need the meme splain from Matt. Matt's meme splain corner.
There's meme splaining to the top. Me at Vel and Cinta and Andor episode 6. Kiss, kiss, kiss. You know, I get it. I guess they couldn't spend that much time, but I don't know.
I was fine with the hand touch. I mean, Skeen obviously tried to get with either of them or both of them, as Skeen is probably skeevy.
Sure.
So he already had given Andor like, look, dude, I recognize that you're semi good looking with your scruffy looking beard there, half, 5 o'clock shadow, but she's got another blanket with someone else. So
but, I gotta say, like, Andor, Cassian just he's got it.
Yeah, sure, he can get it.
He can get it anytime. He's got the
smolder. He's got that smolder look.
He's got the smolder. He's got the scoundrel. He's got that solo thing.
And he definitely will kill anybody on a dime. So, and that's kind of the guy that you want in your court. So, especially at Christmas time.
So Lucha Johnny, he shall henceforth forever be known as Skeevy Skeen.
Skeevy Skeen.
I thought Andor sort of was flirting with Cinta. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was taking care of him. Why wouldn't you?
I guess.
But
anyway,
we don't know Andor's type.
All right, Ralph, you do a Star Wars weekly show called Live Action Star Wars. And you do a stream pretty early in the morning on the day of the episode. So if you're watching this after the fact and you're thinking to yourself, God, I would love to, like, I wake up early and I watch it and I want to join in live, or I need to see it middle of the day. Ralph has to be one of the first episodes up about episodes of Andor.
Yeah, we do live action stars at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays after the show airs. Sometimes if we have a guest and if my co-host James, who's in the UK, has the day off, we'll do a show like we did today at 9 o'clock in the morning. And it seems like we get less viewers at 9 because they're at work.
Oh,
I like getting we found that the 7:30 crowd is more lively. So come join us. Lucha Johnny has been there before. And I think everybody else hasn't. So head over. We are 10 people away. We only need 10 more followers. Go to liveactionstarwars.com and we could hit that big 400.
I think we're 12 away from 400 on GDL2. So if you want to, this is subscription.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And beat Ralph to 400. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's just 10. I know there's 10 of you in the chat right now. Like,
Yeah.
liveactionstarwars.com. Liveactionstarwars.com will take you directly to the YouTube channel.
Boom.
Just subscribe.
Boom.
We're not going to flood your feed with nonstop Motu.
And,
No. Once a week, a Star Wars show.
Boom.
That's
you got it. just to kind of pander a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, please.
I only have like about 24 followers on my Instagram, or no, Instagram I'm at 100, but TikTok I'm only at 24. So follow me on TikTok or Instagram like Ralph does. I appreciate it. So at everyday _ inventors. No, I follow him. I actually follow him, but
you follow me. I don't do anything on TikTok.
I know, but I just saw that you were in my.
The weird thing about TikTok is Jack, who we all know, my father, he's 60-something years old or whatever. Most of the TikToks is stuff that he sends me like, "Hey Jay, check this out. It's funny."
Yes, I know.
All right, I'm aware. Everyday inventors. Oh, there you are. Look at that. Boom.
Boom.
Okay. Yeah, he already follows you because you don't post anything on there, and he's glad because
your music
no Motu talk.
It's not my music. It's other people's music that it's TikTok, but I make art, so feel free to check me out on what I do. So I try to post every day, but sometimes I don't. So, whatever. I do create almost every day though. So.
All right. Well, I'm giving a follow right here live.
Thank you. Boom. I got one. So appreciate it.
Just followed him.
391. Yes. Good people.
Sweet. It's a fun show. We've got some guests lined up, and
they're talking about my channel, Ralph, not yours. Okay.
I'm assuming we said. Oh,
we're talking about my TikTok feed. Thank you very much. I went from 25 to 391. Thank you.
My 7th live chats. Wow, good on you, man. Good on you, mate. Thanks for hanging out here. Yes, let's get Ralph to 400 subscribers. Let's get
Ralph to 1,000. That's the goal.
Sorry, 1,000.
But the next one's 400. We're just 90, you guys.
Just keep on influencing, guys.
Look at that, 392. Woo!
Lucha shows up almost every week.
Every week.
Every week.
I
know who doesn't show up? Know who doesn't show up every week?
Who?
What?
This guy.
Me?
This guy.
What? Oh,
but you guys have he's been guest though.
Well,
I've been guest.
Your show is on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm usually teaching at that time. Just saying. So.
Ralph's beard is worth at least 1,000 followers. Thanks to our patrons.
There's my name.
As Ralph and Matt pull up.
Space Cowboy.
I'm waiting for Lucha Johnny. Did Lucha already pass? There he is.
Like and sub, indeed. Like and sub, please. All right. Again, thanks to the patrons that make anything produced by Geek Dad Live possible.
Ryan Dole came in real late. Sorry.
Help the channel grow. Become a patron today at patreon.com/geekdadlife. And we'll be here next week as we start our next series of 3 episodes. We'll see where it goes. Episode 7. And until next time, hasta luego. And goodbye. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.